Good evening, I'm KHOU11 meteorologist Kim Castro. We are watching our Friday night front now pushing into the overnight hours with quite a bit of strength and intensity, but mainly away from southeast Texas in Louisiana and pushing towards Arkansas. That's where we see the majority of the potency with it in terms of the lightning strikes. Over the last 10 minutes, we've got about 1,000 lightning strikes, most of those being positive strikes, which means they pack more of a punch. They're 10 times stronger than negative ones because they come from the top of the thunderstorm cell when reaching the ground versus negative strikes that come from the bottom of the thunderstorm cell reaching the ground. Could be a difference of 30,000 feet or in excess of that. Honing in on our area over the last 10 minutes, just 65 strikes. So you can see a lot of the energy favoring the northern side of this front as it continues its trek towards the northeast. Positive strikes 54 over the last 10 minutes, negative strikes 19. So some of these definitely will rattle you. They'll potentially wake you up if you're dozing off and headed into your sleep. We'll also see some quick downpours with these storms. Right now we're seeing the line of showers headed towards 59-69 from El Campo to Wharton. Any spots that see that red or orange, you could see some rainfall rates that are a little bit more impressive. We've seen anywhere between about a half an inch of rain over the last hour. That's the rainfall rate, up to over an inch and a half. But for the most part, since these storms will move out of the way quickly, we shouldn't see issues in terms of street inhibitions in case you do have that early morning commute, you work the graveyard shift. Rain in Richmond headed to Sugar Land over the next 30 minutes or so. Right now, Cypress area into the north, some moderate rain for you. The Woodlands, you're seeing a bit of wet weather this evening as well. Cold Spring down to Cleveland, New Waverly, a cell right there that gives you a quick downpour and even some flashes of lightning. Not only that, but the bigger concern with this line will be the wind. And we've certainly seen some sustained winds that are on the stronger side, especially just east of Tomball to Spring. 50 miles an hour right now, otherwise 20 to 15 mile an hour winds, definitely manageable for the Cypress area. Jersey Village to North Houston, right around the Beltway. Well, we've saw some wind gusts that were at 50 to 60 miles an hour, but now that has wind down to about 10 to 20, so nothing to worry about there. Radar, this is a live look over the last hour, the loop of the storms pushing through. They definitely slowed down and slow to a crawl over the last hour or so. So we're waiting to see that main line get into the Beltway and the loop specifically. That should happen within the next 30 to 45 minutes or so. Future track radar showing us the timeline has been shifted back just a little bit. We're expecting that main line to be in the city center by this hour. Now we'll expect that to happen over the next 30 minutes, potentially even all the way up to an hour. Once that line gets to Hobby, gets to Bay City, Palacios, Liberty, then it'll take about an hour or two to get down to the island, and that's when we'll see some remnant showers. Again, a couple of downpours, about an inch or a half an inch with these storms and some gusty wind associated with that too. Not a whole lot of lightning, not a lot of energy. During the overnight hours, we lose the main mechanism that really fuels strong to severe storms, which is the daytime heating, that sunlight. A lot of that has radiated out from the surface. However, we still have quite a bit of moisture at the lower levels, so we could see some of those stronger cells even at the coastline, but most of that activity by the time we get to the 2-3 o'clock hour should be starting to taper. And then after that, a couple of lingering scattered showers until about 4 o'clock, and then things will definitely start to settle down from there on out for this weekend. So main threat continues to be some impacts from the wind. 50, 60 mile an hour winds could definitely topple trees and lead to power outages. For that isolated tornado threat that's really starting to diminish, we're watching areas north of I-10 for that potential. And so that should start to shift our focus now to damaging winds strictly. Street flooding, again, like I mentioned, very limited because this line is just moving at a healthy pace. And so we'll see about a half an inch to an inch of rainfall for most spots. Now, future track radar, No, it's not present there, but like I mentioned, it's a sweeping motion and gets to the island by about 2-3 o'clock, and then we'll start to see things wrap up and shape up to be a beautiful weekend forecast. Now, let me show you what the 7-day shows us. We'll see after that front passes, those temperatures really drop. So for our Saturday, 75 degrees. For our Sunday, 80 degrees. Now notice Sunday, we get an extra hour of sleep because daylight saving time is over. We fall back, so that'll be a nice reward after going through this front. Now, as we head into Monday, we bring back those rain chances up to 30%. That low pressure area that's passing through is going to lift back in as a warm front. And then we take a break as we head into the middle of the week with those temperatures rebounding into the low 80s and staying there until we head to Friday. That's when that next front looks to push in, a 30% chance for some scattered storms. And notice what a temperature drop we'll see. In that 7-day forecast, we go from the low 80s to the low 60s for highs and overnight morning lows in the 40s. Stay with us and make sure you have your KHOU weather alerts on. We'll be watching radar for you over the next couple hours as this overnight front passes through. Otherwise, those weekend plans are in good shape.